Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, night, whatever time zone. Welcome. Today is the full moon. So take a moment to look around all the beautiful people that are here. Want to see and be seen. I love it when you're here, when you open up your video. It's not mandatory. It's just a warm invitation. So just look around. You're not alone. You're here together, really endeavoring the same, to be free, to be living as pure being to the best of our abilities. While you're gazing, just rest your attention in your belly. In the gaze, you're receiving the other, and you're receiving yourself. Let your eyes lower. Making yourself comfortable in your body. Allowing your body to rest in itself. We're making ourselves available to rest as our pure being, as our nature. Our nature is always here, our true nature is always resting. Our bodies have all kinds of experiences and sensations. And the learning, the invitation is to know that in the midst of a bombardment or a quiet mind, through nature, the silence of your being is here. In the midst of emotions and turmoil, true nature is here, resting. In the midst of body aches and pains and pleasures, true nature, the silence of our being is resting. And there is the body of being, the body of flesh, the body of emotion, body of mind, many others, other bodies are here simultaneously. You don't have to get rid of any body. You just have the freedom to choose at some point, sooner or later, to choose where we want to rest our consciousness. So let's first choose to rest our consciousness in the receiving of the breath, breathing our body. Just feel how our bodies are being breathed by the breath. There's nothing we need to do. Stay with the breath, breathing your body, how the body is being moved by the breath. When you get distracted, just come back. Become as intimate as you can with the breath, breathing your body, and how that brings movement in your body. The in-breath, our bodies expand in all directions into space. And on the out-breath, it comes back to itself. And while we are resting more and more, right in the middle of the breath, breathing and moving our bodies, there can still be emotions and thoughts and all kind of stuff. That's fine. Just see if you can really make a strong intention, strong choice. Consciousness rests in the breath, breathing my body. Move in even a little bit closer to the movement that happens in your body. So you become as much as you can one with the breath and the movement in your body. And perhaps you notice while you're more and more coming closer kind of like closing the gap, any gap of attention with the breath, breathing your body. Let the silence of your being, the presence of your being, naturally coming to the forefront. The silence of our being can be experienced as the spaciousness, deep, quiet, peace, lightness, open-heartedness. It's even deeper than that. It's so still. It's what is. Does not move. It's unmovable. It's so still. While the breath is still breathing our body. In a way, stillness is all there is. Ising is all there is. Being is all there is. There are many bodies. There's one being. And this one silent being is just being. It is. There's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. What's here in the past, in the future it will be, and it is here right now. It is. It just is. I was looking through your eyes when you were a little boy or a little girl. It's still looking out of your eyes. Allowing yourself to be available to receive being that you are. So we're not working here very hard. We're not trying. Just sitting here, being available to receive the breath, breathing us and our nature, that what is always free, open, deeply steady and still. Our bodies are housed in this steady and still being. We're always held. Together we are choosing to rest our bodies, hold our bodies still and soft and available to receive the silence of our being. That's all what we're here for. To realize that we are the silent being. There's only silent being. Nothing needs to happen. There's no goal, no direction we're going. We're just sitting, naturally receiving being. Wir ontvangen onszelf. Wir ontvangen ons wezen, zijn. Let the muscles in your body soften. You're not going anywhere. Even if your body is very activated, see if you can still make the choice to receive, to be available to receive your being. Silence of your being, the presence of your being. And allowing any intensity, or let's say anything that you don't like, letting it do what it needs to do, and we do what we need to do, choosing for the highest, the widest, the deepest. And it's being available to receive the silence of our being that's steady now. This is home, and home is always home and available and here, no matter what happens in your life. It's the most important to cultivate, put all our money on home. That's true happiness, true freedom. It's our true nature. It's our nature to be steady and still and alive. So let's take a deep breath, letting out the out breath with a sound. And allowing your body to move in whatever way it wants to move and stretch or not. Welcome again. When we deeply, deeply know that the silence of our being is always here and takes care of everything, then it can take care of everything. Everything will be covered. And we all know that really in our hearts. And still, we don't allow ourselves to fully trust that and really just know that, trust that, kind of count on it without kind of grasping on it. Just kind of being surprised every moment by the care and the love that is here. The more we stay steadfast here, and it's like just walking space, embodied walking space, walker. I don't know how to call it. It's very simple. You know, I remember when I kind of embarked on the path, so to speak, I felt there's this important thing that's really big and I have to figure it out, I have to get it. And there's really beautiful sincerity to it. And then so easily we overlook what is here. That's steadfast here always. That lives as us. And we let it. So as I wrote in my newsletter that came out yesterday, kind of leaping into the unknown. I left my home in Corralitos, Santa Cruz area. And I feel for all of us, I just take the freedom to speak for all of you. So I feel for all of us, there's of course always an unknown, you know. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I have some sense, or we assume that we know, but we don't really know. And then there are moments, and I feel we are living in this time when we really have no clue what the fuck is happening, what's going to happen in our future, you know. And in a way, our future it's in the future, it's not really here, but the more we are here, resting as our nature and operating, taking action as our silent nature, then the future is actually here. It's here now. We are creating it. It's up to us. It's up to you. Yeah. And I feel that also just leaping into the unknown, I feel kind of this will be gone for a few months, probably from my home, or God knows, forever. I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel kind of I'm stepping into the wilderness. I just cannot quite feel like, well, where am I going? Yeah, okay, I went with my car yesterday. I knew where I was going. And I arrived here. So that worked out, even though a little later than I planned. But there's still this sense of like, oh yeah, and then there's this wilderness in front of me, which is very exciting to me. And then it's like, oh yeah, so easily we can look into like, oh well, what's going to happen? But instead of just being here, it's just life is a process. Letting that unfold. Just letting that unfold. Any experience that happens along the way. That's the wilderness right here. Or that was the wilderness for me when I was packing the last week. Gosh, it takes so much time and energy to pack a house and had to make it available for my subletters, really wonderful people. And it's great to go through all my stuff. And I don't have that much stuff. And still I thought, geez, I have so much stuff. And yeah, if I could just let it go of. But of course, I want to bring all my stuff in my car, which never fits. So there's like this, I could feel this process in me. Okay, I know I always want to bring my everything, Okay, that's stage number 1. Stage 2, next day. Half of it, what do you leave here? Okay, okay. Stage 3, okay, what else can I leave here? So it's the same with awakening in a way. It's kind of what is not me, what has never been you anyways, that we think we are, this imprisoned self, that's kind of falling away. And when it has fallen away, there's more space, as there was more space in my house too. And but when it has fallen away, we come more and more in contact with what actually is left. What is left? What are we? What is it that's moving here? What is it that's speaking here? What is it that is sitting here? And then life supports us. So for me too, even though I had help of a friend that would help me every day the last 5 days. And then all of a sudden somebody showed up to work just an hour. She came, she said, oh, we're just going to help for an hour. And she cleaned the kitchen. It's like, oh, wow. And this, oh, that's just perfect. And then another friend was there a lot to help me and just be there, because I don't know so much about technical things. So I would give that to him. Oh, can you figure this out? And then he would figure it out. And just the more we come into this steadiness of the silence that we are, the more trust there is that this is what I am. This is all really there is. This is what comes into action. I like it like Thich Nhat Hanh calls it meditation in action. That's really what it is. It's meditation in action. It is pure being in action. So the more we're resting as pure being, the more actually it can come into action, as it really needs to come into action. Sometimes we can rest in pure being and it's like, am I really resting in pure being, or am I a little numb here and I just am numb to taking action? Yeah. So it's quite a close encounter to be steady here to the best of our abilities and listen and see what wants to move. So for me, going to I'm on a journey driving in my car to the East Coast. So from the West Coast to the East Coast, that's a long haul, I think if you would drive it every day, you can drive it in 4 days, but I'm definitely not going to do it, perhaps 5 days. So I take a few weeks. And I go and check out some communities there to perhaps go and live there on the land. And then I can feel like, why am I doing this? There's a movement. I sat with the question for a long time, am I going to go there or not? And what's going to happen? And just feeling into listening. Till one morning I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm going. And so that was that first sense, and then aligning with that. And then, the different thoughts came and questions like, why do I forever want to live in Tennessee? Who wants to live in Tennessee? And yeah, well, it's really beautiful there. And the people, I don't even know them that well. Why? And then I'm living in paradise here in Corralitos. And it's like, no, we're going. I could feel it. And then it's like, okay, just align with it fully. And the moment I aligned with it fully, just like, yes, somebody offered me a cabin that I can stay in, because it's not easy to rent places there. And then, lots of other things, people that said, I can help you with this, I can help you with that. And it's like, life is saying yes. We all have that experience, when we make certain choices. Like at some point, life just, oh, okay, oh, wow, that's a nice coincidence. It's like organized. Life, when we are clear, yes, I align with this movement, then the universe helps us, which is our nature. We have this longing, we have this heart wish going out, and the universe, the outer which is, there's really no outer, but let's call it outer, has the same heart wish back. It's the same. It wants us, we want it. And the only thing there is being, moving. So I'm moving. So I feel it's crucial in these times where there's more unknown than ever before. Your life has changed, which is obvious in one way. It has changed. In another way, nothing has much changed. And for every person, it's different. But I feel we are more and more kind of pushed, sometimes very gentle, sometimes not so gentle, into, hey, what do you want this lifetime? Well, how do you want to live this freedom? Because especially when you're coming here, you know, at least I assume, you want to know who you are. You want to live as this freedom. You don't want to hang out in your emotional world the whole time and in your, your upstairs world all the time. You want to live as freedom. You have tasted freedom. You want that. What you want, you need to give it your whole heart. If you want to learn a computer all the way through, you need to give it your whole heart. If you want to deeply know who you are, you need to give it your all. Where we put our attention, that's what grows. So if your attention is in cultivating who you are, cultivating, could say meditation, deeper that is, the more steady that is, the more refined, we are a fine instrument that we're being worked on. Anything that's not needed for that instrument is being killed, just to put it clearly. It was never us anyways, but it's being killed. It dies. It has to die. And in that dying, it's uncomfortable. We can be very emotional. We can be very angry or sad or disappointed or happy, scared. That's all part of our humanity. The more we can allow that to move through, the deeper we can rest and be steady and hear like, oh, okay. I'm going to Tennessee. I don't know if I will ever end up there, but I'm moving. That's a huge invitation. And the more we dare to follow that, in a way, go from order, because we all want to have order in our lives, right? Structure, order, so we have some sense of safety, which is important for our human form, to be able to relax, to have some sense of structure and everything is okay, and then I can relax. And then there are times there's chaos. And chaos is very important too in our lives, because then we need to step up to the plate, to rise up to, you could say, higher frequency or higher consciousness, which is us, to live as pure being in chaos and knowing this is untouched. Steady being is untouched. Still, the human will go through turmoil. Even when you see with the great beings, they all have gone through turmoil. Something is steady and still and home. And in that one way of being still and steady and home, we also can be more and more touched by everything. It's the opening of the heart. Something opens more deeply to being, to taste everything. Just yesterday, when I said goodbye to my house, I feel I feel very connected with the being of my house, and connected. For me, it's a he, and he's very happy with the new people that are coming. I just can feel it, And then, so I was saying goodbye yesterday, and I had to cry. And then I went to my vegetable garden. I just have to laugh about myself. I love my vegetables so much, and I talk with them every day, and they grow. It's like amazing. And especially one of the vegetables I just am in love with. And so I just was saying goodbye to all my vegetables, and I was crying, and I was laughing. It's like, wow, these are all beings. We are all beings. We're so alive. We're so tender. We're so refined. The trees, the garden, they're so alive. The animals, so alive. So it was just wonderful to let that flow through me. To feel that, like, wow, just this deep love that has tears in the moment. And then I stepped in my car, so a friend was there, and we hugged goodbye. And I have a little store close by my house, like a mile away, that has, there are farmers, and I know the farmers all in the neighborhood. We meet once a week, and I went there to buy some wonderful snacks from the road. And then the farmer lady was there. She's not always in the store. And she just moved from one farm to another. They had bought one. And she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm leaping into the unknown, and I'm tired. I'm so tired." She said, "I know what you mean." And then I started crying and just kind of saying goodbye. And it also reminded me when I was a little girl. I remember at one point we were moving away from a place that we had lived for a long time, and I just had to cry. I was the only one of the whole family crying. I probably cried for the whole family. And then the moment when I was in the next place, I'm done crying. I'm just here. What's next? And I feel that now too. Life is so beautiful when we can let it move through us. The more we're steady, the more life can flow. The more we hear, life can flow as she wants to flow. The more we are resting as pure being, the more we can be ourselves and let our being flow, how it wants to flow, how we choose to flow. It's easier to make choices. We are the ones. That saying, we're the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones we are waiting for. Nobody else is going to live this life for you, really. Nobody. You are living, you have the choice to live your life. Do you have a baggage from the past? Yes, we all have. And some baggages are quite heavy and challenging, and some baggages are not so heavy. And you have the choice. It's possible for you to live as pure nature, as your nature, as your true nature, as your true beauty. It's possible. As I see it, what it takes is to rest as meditation, to take time to sit in silence. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, we need to take that time. And not saying like, okay, if I don't, I have to sit. It's not about that. Because if you do that, I have to sit, and you don't do it, you beat yourself up. It's terrible, because then meditation becomes about beating yourself up. No, it's just like, hey, do I want to sit? Let's sit for a few minutes. Okay, it's enough now. Okay, go about my day. So learning to let that flow. Remember, I learned a lot because of one of my teachers, Kashmir and Tantra, that I was also trained in, and you learn different practices. And then we would ask the teacher, like, okay, so how often should we do this? Or how often should we practice, and how long? And he would always say, I'm not going to say how long, how much, how wet, and what. He said, because you get only tight around. He said, just follow. Which practice do you feel affinity to? And then play with it. Play with it. Find out. And I just want to convey the same thing. meditation. It's my experience. Find out for yourself. For me, meditation is the ground, the foundation of my life. I can't imagine living this life without that. It's the ground. And the more steady I am as pure being, the more I can live this life for me to the fullest, and through that for all beings. For all. You know, I'm more enjoyable when I'm with friends, and I'm steady. Yeah. And the more I sit in meditation, we start shining as that. Naturally, it shines out to all. Same like a tree. Right? Looking out here through a forest. Same a tree. It's just a pure tree. It radiates out for all of us. It's for all of us. Do you want to radiate anger and rage? Or do you want to radiate this pure being? And let the rage dissolve in that, melt into that. Life is one big meditation. Are you ready to show up? Let's go, let's live it. Live this life. And yes, life, it's not always organized. It's not always safe. It's not always steady. Your being is steady. It's really good to have chaos. See how steady we are in the chaos. It's really good that when there's, this movement came, okay, we're going. And simultaneously, there was also some fear that, where am I going in these times? It's insane. It's like, no, we're going. And I trust that. Fear falls away. Or not, or it's still here. Whatever is here is falling. Be steady and pure being. That's the cultivation. That's the invitation. That's the daring. Do we dare to live our heart wish? Will it always be easy? No. Will we be challenged? Yes. Can it be scary? Yes. Can it be amazingly joyful? Yes. It can be anything. And when we live as pure being, we're so held and nourished. When we allow ourselves to be nourished by pure being, it tends to flow a little easier. The boulders in the river, we can play with it more easily. I would say that's my invitation today. Like, how willing, how much in the deepest of your heart are you ready to cultivate who you truly are? Who you truly are. And put all your money, your devotion, your heart in an Esther. And live. Move as that. Through that, touch your own life beyond imagination and touch all beings beyond imagination. That's the invitation. Yeah, I want to open it up for questions. If you want to have a question or you want to share. Yes, Delia.
Oh, thank you so much for that Dharma talk. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
So it's a question. It's probably a bit rambly, but at the moment I'm experiencing this real polarity between, and I'm nervous as well talking in this group.
But take your time. Is it Delia? Huh?
Celia, yeah.
Celia.
Yeah.
Celia, just take your time. See what it's like to let nervousness be nervous.
Mm.
Let the body experience what it does in your belly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, recently I've been experiencing this kind of quiet inside, and almost like the emotions are wrapped around the outside somehow. Yeah, so like this deep inside place, and feeling like I had this feeling the other day, like it kind of didn't matter what I could feel, like the realness of the feeling was there, but it was just kind of moving through, like in the core it doesn't matter, something like this, and this real quiet, and then other moments completely kind of thrown into massive drama and emotional states that I feel really real and I feel really identified with. And so there's this kind of weird, to my brain anyway, this very strange polarity between what's silent and feels true, and then being inside of my humanness in a way that feels really uncomfortable, but then also not wanting to avoid that because I don't want to do something spiritual to push it away either. I've got COVID and I've been by myself for 7 days, so it's been kind of like a retreat in a way, right? Mm-hmm. Without distractions, without outside, and I've been kind of flipping between these states, and today feeling very sorry for myself and isolated and that kind of thing, and then other days having this real quiet being my main experience. I'm just wondering if you, and I feel like that's what it's like for me on my path at the moment, is kind of both of these things can be very real depending on where consciousness is moving from. And it's very long, it's not really a question, but I'd love you to speak to that if possible.
Yeah, that's beautiful. This is the invitation right here, because it's your divinity and your humanity are just right here simultaneously. So right now, while we're sitting here together, what's happening right now? Do you feel both right now too?
I feel some kind of aliveness in my heart, some adrenaline, some mentalness, thinking to explain in words.
Yeah. So that's here, the mentalness, the heart, and then there's being is here too. Yeah. So I understand you don't want to bypass anything, right? Mm-hmm. So the learning is, I call it a natural detachment. A natural detachment will happen, but it's kind of like you first notice, because I want to bring it here now. You notice whatever is happening in your humanity, your brain, your body, questions when I'm doing the right thing. And then there's being. So the invitation is to rest when you can in the moment. Ask yourself what is already still. Mm-hmm. Rest there. And then let this do what it does. Yeah, kind of like that. Let this move. We want to go in there, right? No, we're not going to go in there. We let it move. So we don't deny it. We don't grab it. We don't push it away. We just let it do what it does. Because this wants to come home. This needs to be lived and come to a completion. This is already completion itself. This is fine. This is steady. But the more this is, something can relax, and then sooner or later this will kind of melt in. So for instance, when you have what you have that's going on in your body, this is incredible. As you say, it's the retreat. So in retreat, a lot what we do also is sitting with our mind, right? Like, oh dear, it's like a machinery that never stops. and then just emotional machinery, and, you know, upstairs machinery, whatever. And it's like, okay, let's go back home first to the best of my ability. Yeah, but if I can't, you know, yes, just even if it's 1 minute, 20 seconds. It's kind of almost like more and more you take this choice of resting as pure being and letting this do. Sometimes it's really important to go in, feel the sensation, but often when you're more resting here, it's more easily to feel the sensation in your body and noticing the story that comes along with the sensation. Oh, when this tingling happens in my body, I believe I'm not safe. It's scary. I will be beaten up any moment. And oh, wow. And that's very intense because that's perhaps how it was when we were young. I don't know. Yeah. So that's when we go on retreat, the more space there is, the more space is for all these parts to come out, to come home. Yeah. Not because you're bad or doing it wrong. No, it's actually you're doing it right. It has finally the space to come up.
It feels like there's a terror of parts of myself. You know, it's kind of like in my process of, you know, awakening kind of thing. Parts of me have to die, right? And so it's kind of like an annihilation process that a lot of strong feeling is coming up because it knows, you know?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it makes sense. And yes, of course there's terror. Of course. Yeah. There's terror till there's no terror. So in a way, again, there's like, you know, like, Wilma, help. And this is always steady. You could say this is the parent, the grandparent, you know, this is here. This is pure love. Loves you so much. Steady. This is, yeah, but me, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. So in a way, sometimes it's also just good to talk with that part. Sweetheart, it's okay. I love you. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. So it's kind of a self-parenting we do. And the more and more we can take our hands off and rest steady. Because often those places of terror are created in relationship, right? When we're little. Those places of terror also have to do with trauma. In my world, everybody has trauma. And so most traumas are created in relationship. So we need to create a healthy relationship within ourselves with whatever comes up. And that's why it's sometimes good to be with someone else while you go through this, because the healing also needs to happen in relationship. Yeah. So it's kind of like, of course there's terror. Of course there's terror. So part of it. Because that terror couldn't be expressed because you would be left, you would be beaten up, or you would be whatever the reason was. They're coming up to be melting into space, into the love. Yeah. So rejoice when it comes up. Easier said than done, because it's so in our nervous system. And the more those, because they're real, you know, they feel real. They are real in our psychology, you know, in our psyches. They need to be dealt with. Yeah. A lot of people are so-called awake and they're just numb to this. You know, they're not really alive. They're like stuck in emptiness in a way. These need the heart naturally wants to care for these terrors. Even though it's a false self, it's not you. It's an imprisoned self that wants to come out of prison and wants to melt into that love. So please trust all these things that are bubbling up. Just say yes, yes. Thanks for coming because you want to come home. And there will be tears and anger and scared and everything. The more and more you allow them to be here, receive them, taste them, the more you can be just steady and let that unfold, and it melts away. And can be very, very intense. And then often what happens, the deeper we resting as being, the deeper also the old stuff can come up. So you have like, wow, what the heck? I'm more still. And then even more stuff comes up. Yeah, it does. But the more and more you will be here. And at some point, you can just allow yourself to be touched by whatever bubbles up. Any beauty, any pain, any suffering. And that's a right suffering. When this comes up, the terror, and it's being met by steady love, it's right suffering. It comes free. There's a lot of unnecessary suffering in this world. This is right suffering, coming free. Yeah. Does that make sense? So enjoy your retreat.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Take good care, Delia. Phil.
Just trying to speak right now. I can feel this thing that I want to speak about. When it's really subtle, I can feel it. When it's not so subtle, I don't even feel it. But I'll try not to look away from the screen. Yeah, I often, look away to find a thought. There's just like a subtle tightening, and I know the tightening is here, and it's happening, and it's part of what's here and happening. And it's some kind of I don't know how to speak it. It's some kind of not being here, but I mean, of course I'm here. I'm not sure what I'm asking. Mostly, I'm wanting to voice something rather than just kind of. Yeah, because I think there's the habit is to kind of, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And of course I'm okay.
Yeah. No, but there's something important about this part, about this sharing. Because in a way, it's just, see if this resonates, this kind of still part that doesn't quite want to be here. Or is not capable to fully be here.
Yes.
We don't know that in our own ways. Just one little part that doesn't want to be here, or is a little sleepy, or doesn't really want to just be here. And I just want this part to know you're just so calm. be here. And you can take all the time you need to just be here. Just take all the time you need. Just see what happens when you hear that.
There are a couple of sensations. When you first started to speak, there's a sadness, and then kind of almost like a feeling of like a spasm, like in here, like almost like a Presca, like almost there, but not. Like it's very subtle.
Are you already welcoming it in? That gives it more chance to be itself. And that's the love of this steady, pure being. Because just joining this part, that will help to close the gap. Fully be taken. And that is subtle. First, the parts are big, screaming out loud. Then there's subtler, 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 subtler. And that needs that stillness to be able to receive that. Yeah, just keep staying with that. Stay steady here and letting that unfold. Just bring that awareness there and just see if there's anything else that wants to be revealed. But you will know when it has completed itself.
There was something you said earlier during the meditation or the talk afterwards about trust. So like it seems to me there's something that's not trusting when there's any kind of tightening in any circumstance. Yeah. And I mean, I guess the only answer, like there's no answer that's going to quiet that here, yet kind of it seems like what you're saying at the moment is the more that I have an experience of feeling, being with, allowing whatever is here, the more like just like the organicity of that trust is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yes, that's all forming, and then it needs to be embodied. Yeah. And the embodiment is this combination of resting back and resting in the breath in the body. That will help to make it more steady.
And it's something that is just, it is something that is just natural.
It's natural, and sometimes, even though it's natural, sometimes we just need to put our hands on our bellies and breathe. Our hands on our wherever, and bring it here. Yeah. Otherwise we can get lost in it.
Yeah.
And that deepens the trust. Still, it's not like there's more trust and more trust. Then there's just trust. There's like, I trust. I know. Even if I don't know.
Without any labeling of any of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful. It reminds me also of Thich Nhat Hanh. You know, as I spoke, he speaks about meditation in action. And one of the ways how he spoke about it is also, at least how I heard it, is his main practice was putting his hands on his belly, no matter what. Hands on belly. Breathe.
Mm. Mm.
And he brings it in the body, brings it here.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Thank you, Marlies.
You're welcome. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy. Check the low belly. There we have it. Anybody else that wants to share or has a question or Magdalena?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, listening to Phil, I just realized that there are times, I don't think they come as often now. They take me by surprise sometimes, but I could see, when I am like I had this image of being in a conversation or group with people where I would feel like I'm not seen, or I don't matter there, and it's almost like a sense of being resigned, and then like invisible in a way, but resigned, not fully being there. And so as I listened to the conversation before, I just had this strong sense of me holding me, but I matter to me, I matter to me, like and this strong sense of holding myself physically too, and seeing that, if I give myself this attention, as you're saying, and this presence, and the trust is becoming more solid there, then, I have a little bit less expectation from how I'm received out there in the world, because it's all met here. And I think is tender, as I'm saying that, because I often looked for what I perhaps need to give myself more in the world. And it just feels solid right now that it's all in me here and it's all met. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's different, huh? When it's met here, then you're here. And then it's easy to be anywhere. And then it's easier to see everything that happens, and then coming back to it also becomes more and more easy. Because there becomes more and more separation, more and more detachment of that original, well, it's not really original, but let's say original belief that was created.
Yes. Yes, and I'm also stepping slowly into the unknown. And so from this space, comes excitement, and I could see when I lose it, like it becomes clearer today. These days, I spend more time with me, that there is a belief that there is a belief almost I'm attaching a story of how it's gonna be, you know, without that security, without that knowing, and I get too much attached to the content. I go too much into the content instead of just feeling it here and releasing what's actually a whole history.
Yeah.
Because there is excitement of being in the unknown. Like everything stops. I just feel so fully in the moment, and I don't care of how it's unfolding. It's just yeah. So I think I need to remind myself all the time that, oops, I got caught up in the content. I went there in the story instead of actually feeling it from here and
Yes.
being that warm presence. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really the answer. To me, that's the answer to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back more here, and then you can attend to whatever you need to attend to, so-called out there.
Mm. Yes, and it's almost like I like at the subtle level, I'm used to be in a way, like I used to be this way until this moment. And it's like recognizing almost in the cellular level, that, oh, actually, I've been used to be like this. You know, I need to make that other choice where I don't need to scare myself, always imagining, you know, the outcome. Or, you know, I come from a family that something has to happen every moment, like something negative, you know, to kind of justify life's not working, it's not that easy, you know.
Yeah.
And it is in me at a certain level. I could see that how tense I keep the body, or, you know, I relax, like you almost have to look for that outcome, or, you know, be vigilant, or be in that
Yeah.
and it's almost like being really subtle and behind to allow these parts to go, like they, you know.
Exactly. And to stay in the wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just know it's not only your family, we're inundated with negativity. Yeah. In our daily lives, actually around us, not so much, but you know, TV, radio, news, it's inundation of negativity which activates the nervous system, and we cannot calm, and we cannot really take right action. Yeah. So of course it's everywhere, and people are trained like that and believe that, and it's a distraction machine. You know, wherever the media wants our attention to be, if it's here, oh, now everybody's here. Oh, now we are all here. Oh, now we are all here. Yeah, it's like, where do I choose to be? I choose to be home. Yeah. And that's what it takes. So you're going against the stream by doing this, which is kind of funny because this is our original nature. This is who you are. And we train to be away from our nature. And then you will see how much beauty is actually happening all the time. How many people, the real news is that there's so many people doing amazing things, offering amazing things, helping people, supporting people. There's so much love and care that needs to be acknowledged also within ourselves and through that in our worlds around us. So yeah, that's what it takes, because we've trained that way.
Yeah, and it is like I say, it is almost like addictive, and, you know, get used to the addiction. I just notice how, you know, when I'm tired at the end of the day, or going on Facebook actually makes me a little bit more agitated, and it almost like it takes me a bit of a conscious attention and effort to switch to go into just meditating and doing nothing, which seems in opposition like boring.
Yeah.
But actually, once I do that, I just discover this treasure inside, and so much joy and peace. And yeah, but is that conscious effort, especially when I'm stimulated, to fall back into the silence and peace. And once I'm there, I was like, how can I function the other way? But it's still a bit of a readjustment. And
it's a process. It's an unfolding. Cultivation is an unfolding forever.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. It takes firm compassion. It's like, okay, fierce compassion. It's like, I choose for this. No, I'm not gonna go there. I choose for this, but I choose for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's sucked in. I went to macrobiotic school in my early 20s, and you learn that even then, TV, radio, screen they call it yin. You get pulled in. It pulls you in. Takes away kind of your freedom, you could say, but it takes everything to say, no, I stay here and use it in a wholesome way, because technology is incredible. As is, everything is incredible when we use it for that. So also our mind, where do we want to put our mind? We want to bring it home into pure love. It's incredible. And then pure love start moving. Pure being start moving as pure being. That's the most amazing thing. What else would we want to be doing? It's up to us to have that firm choice. Because we are a choice.
Yeah, a choice. Thank you, Marlies. It keeps coming and coming. I just want to honor that tomorrow is Easter, and I'm thinking of Jesus right now and how powerful he was in choosing truth. So I don't know. I just needed to say that. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anybody else? About 5 more minutes or so. Yeah, Darcy. I knew you were going to raise your hand.
I'm trying to find it. I just want to share a little story which was helpful for me, just on what Magdalena was just saying or you were talking about, which is, I think it's a story from Ramana Maharshi, and it's been helpful for me just as a pointer, but also just a place of understanding and sort of like self-forgiveness in a way. And he just tells the story of a cow who, was used out foraging for little pieces of food wherever he can get it, or she. And so then there's a barn, or somebody collects the cow, and there's this wonderful, massive pile of food, and yet the cow wants to keep going out into the field to go forage and rummage for food, but it's about returning back to sort of home and this place where there's bountiful food, but every morning the cow wants to go out and again rummage for the little scraps that it can find, and it's just this process of returning back home over and over again for this lovely meal that's guaranteed and always there. But the powerful force for me to go out and always be looking for it in the things of the world, if you will, or the scraps that I can get in Facebook or wherever else I might try to get them. And so it's just a cute little story that I wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Darcy. That's beautiful.
It was helpful along the way. Oh yeah, there I go again. There I go again. There I go again.
Yes.
Somehow it's soft and loving and just warm and understanding and a reminder at the same time. So I find it helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that it is right in front of us, right? That is caring and nourishment and what we are. It's right here. It's always so here. We don't have to go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're beautiful. Mhm. Good to see you. Just know home is still here. Just know the invitation, resting as your nature, is always here. It's always available. It's you. Wants to be lived. The joy of your life is you. Sometimes hard to understand, life can be so challenging. In the midst of that, there can be always joy. And always be this knowing the goodness of who you are, that you're here. That you're here, that we're here. It's pure being. It's love. We're here. It's incredible. We're here. And so when you're in your soup, stewing, just look up, look around you, just see the beauty. That same beauty that's so-called out there, it's here, it's you. Yeah. Keep going here, keep being here. It's so simple, and it's very challenging for all of us, till it's not. And trust that whatever is in front of you is an invitation to be here. So no matter what you're dealing with within yourself, in a situation in your life, you can think, oh gosh, here we go again. It's like, what if I would take this as, yeah, okay, my heart is a little close, go back here, be here. What do I really want? Actually, I want to be myself. I want to love. I want to be loved. I just don't quite know how to do that. Come back here. Come back here. And then naturally it will go out. It has to, because it wants to shine out. Living this life in a human body takes quite a courage and a willingness and perseverance. And it can be done. Many have gone before us. Please trust the way. Whatever's in the way is the way. Please trust the way. It's all pure being. It's love. It's beauty. It's a gift. It's the wrapping paper that gifts come in are not always the most beautiful wrapping papers. When we keep unfolding, there's a pearl, there's a diamond, there's beauty. No, you are beauty. So please take good care of yourself, take good care of all those around you, And thank you so much for joining today. No matter what, stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Smiling down in your body, stay here. Enjoy the ride, and I will keep you posted of my journey through the newsletters. Take good care. So much love for you all. And if you want to unmute and say goodbye to everyone, please go ahead.